Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be about painting rocks. I've had a lot of requests and a lot of people who are interested in learning to paint, asking me how to get those rocks to look like rocks. I can do I'm actually planning to do a much more detailed video later with just rocks. I thought let this be an introductory video. So I'm using just gouache, some acrylic gouache. The products will be listed down in the description box, and yeah, let's get right into it. I think towards the end I use a little bit of watercolors, little bit, just to put some shadow. So I thought I'll film this time how I'm actually using the masking tape. Yeah, so I tape it to the table so that it doesn't move, and I tape it. I've got three different sizes of masking tapes, because you need space to frame them. So it takes at least about half an inch space to frame. So I plan accordingly. So you can fold the end of the tape that way, so that next time there's a tape emergency, you can use it. Yeah, so these are the products that I'm going to be using. Sorry, the camera wasn't focusing. I'm sorry. I'm using Caran d'Ache. I don't know how to say it. It's Turner, Winsor Newton, and Caran d'Ache. So right now here I'm drawing. I'm just making some light pencil marks, so that I get a lay of the land. Most of it I've composed it myself. So what I do is I've got I get like multiple pictures and then put them all together and then design it myself and then go right ahead. I don't like copying exactly from a picture. This is no, I'm not looking at a painting. I'm looking at an actual photograph that I found on Google. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing some random rocks. I'm not really worried about their placement and where exactly each rock goes and nothing. It's just the perspective that I'm going to keep my eye out for. So like I said, the closer the object, the bigger it is. Anyway, I've started with gouache, no watercolors. I'm not using watercolors. I wanted to use gouache specifically for this one. So I've started with light blue, some white, really light, and if you've observed, I'm hardly using any product. I've used little, and then all I use is water, and I lift some paint off. And then I'm filling up the beach. What I'm doing right now is blocking the paint. When I say blocking, I mean just putting the base color everywhere, so that on that we can work on it. No, that's not the beach color. We will be making it much more darker. So I'm doing the land right now, where I'm seeing the in the photograph. I should have put the photograph in the video. Next time I will do that next time, so that you guys can get get an idea of what I'm looking at and what I'm actually creating. So yeah, it's I decided I wanted to create like I'm standing really far and all these rocks are just visible from where I'm standing. So that's why it looks like this. So I'm just going with random colors. It's just random. It's browns, it's pinks, it's oranges, it's greens, and a lot of muddy color. In the previous video, in the Ghibli scenery, we discussed about how we should not worry about the exact color and everything. That's going to be a thing if if that's what you're going for here. But since it's a beach, not a single rock is the same color, the same shape, and so I'm not following the photograph exactly here. I'm just randomly. I'm not bothered about the cleanliness or the prettiness here. I'm just laying the color. I'm just blocking the color. I'm just putting on the color, and then we'll come back in more with the details. If you see I'm going, it is not black. I am not using black directly on the painting. Never do that. Never ever 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 use black directly. Always dilute it with some other color to get a darker color. Nature does not have exact black ever anywhere. So I hope that was true. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So I'm not really bothered about the cleanliness here. I'm just randomly placing them, and so that I want the brush strokes, I want the brush marks to be seen. So I'm going in, I'm just dabbing, dab dab dab. If you see, I'm just applying, I am not sweeping. Enjoy the process, really. Just sit back and just enjoy it. Just randomly, just random round shapes. If you heard me burp, I'm sorry. So just some random browns, little bit of green, little bit of burnt sienna, chrome yellow, not chrome yellow, I'm so sorry, yellow ochre, sorry, that's a yellow ochre mix of brown, some black. The color I'm using right now is a mix of yellow ochre, black, and a little bit of brown. So I'm trying to get some shapes blocked in. I could have speed this up. Okay, we have grammar Nazis, please don't attack me. I could have fast forwarded this. I hope that was right. I could have done that, but then I wanted, a lot of people are expecting to learn how to do this. So I wanted to keep the process. I wanted them to sit back, maybe with some coffee, with some tea, with a paper and a pencil, and maybe watch what I'm doing, and maybe even create their own piece, own version of what I'm doing here, so they can have me working in the corner and watch and then do what I'm doing. You see how I'm actually building up the rocks. They don't look the same, so it looks like a bunch of rocks, right? Right now it looks a little smudgy, it looks a little shabby because I haven't given any dimension to it. So just keep watching and try to understand what I'm actually doing. And like I said, the further we move, the smaller the objects get. So yeah, just keep an eye out. So the further the rocks, you see them more in the light, so it's a lot of whites and a lot of yellows. So I'm not using white directly here. It's white, little bit of brown, and I'm just painting all over them, and then I'll come back again inside with detail. Just watch what I'm doing. I don't really need to explain what I'm doing here. It's oh my god, I can't believe I said that. I'm sorry. It's self-explanatory. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so I'm painting white all over, and then I'll come back with more detail. Just keep watching. I'm leaving the other side a little plain because I want it to be dark. Only I've divided this into 3 different parts. You will understand as I keep going forward. I'm so sorry if I'm stuttering. This is all very new to me. So I'm sure as I keep doing this, I will get better at talking. So here I'm trying to create like a pathway, where you can actually walk on. You can't walk on big, huge rocks. So I'm creating a pathway right here, and I'm going with a darker brown, a more like a Van Dyke brown, or something like a burnt umber brown. And I'm creating that pathway, so I'm leaving that white area as white. We'll learn soon why I'm doing that. So I'm just blocking in the paint, making some shapes, making the shape of this thing. I'm going in with directly the thick gouache paint there. Sometimes you don't want it diluted with water, you want the thick paint there. Just keep watching. So I'm making it a little darker there because the mud on the beach, this particular beach here that I'm trying to create, is really dark. Not the sand, not the beachy, sandy, very light brown color, not that color. I'm looking for something dark. So the darker areas where where there's a shadow and where there is less sunlight, I'm going in with the darkest brown. I think I'm using Daler-Rowney's gouache. I don't know if it's Daler-Rowney or Daler-Rowney. It's Daler-Rowney's gouache. Yeah, it's quite good actually. It's a tad bit runnier, more runny than the Winsor Newton gouache. I'm also using Caran d'Ache. Oh God, why can't they just name their paints and products normally? Caran d'Ache is actually a very good brand. It's quite thick gouache, like really thick gouache. Like it needs to be diluted. You can't just directly use them. But on the other hand, I like Daler-Rowney here. It's the right consistency. It's like the perfect kind of gouache. So I'm making the pathway slightly more darker. I'm trying to get the mud right here. Maybe I could have sped this up a little bit, but hey, I wanted you guys to see the detail. So I'm starting off with the detail on the rest of the rocks here that be painted white because that's where the light was shining the hardest. And I'm gonna start giving a shape. I think I went back to the road. Oh yeah, I keep switching between areas so that I don't get bored. I take breaks, I come back, and I sit with another area of work, or I'm waiting for one part to dry and then I work on the other. So I'm gonna put little white marks to show some white stones or some really white sand, or I'm going with direct bright zinc white. Sorry about the lighting if you feel a little jarred. Sorry, not jarred, I mean like, I hope that didn't hit you. So now I'm going with a little of the white on the rocks because of the light that I want to show. Remember to add bright white or yellow or titanium white, zinc white, mixing white, all kinds of bright white or yellows, lemon yellows, chrome yellows. When you want to show the bright side of the rock, where it's facing the sun, or it's, the light, moonlight, or either ways, whichever side it is, to show the highlights, you paint them white and yellow, and then create shapes and detail and dimension on it. You see what a difference it makes. So I'm using the muddy brown here. Now I'm detailing it a little bit more, not leaving the white as it is. So since it's since it's gouache, I want the brush marks to be seen. I want it to look like a painting and not a photograph. I keep repeating this in every painting of mine. Painting video, sorry. So I'm mixing a little bit of the light brown with the white. Again, I didn't go to the rock next to it. I went to the next one. I keep doing this so I don't get bored. So I'm mixing a little green here. I want to show the algae, and I want to show that all these rocks are actually wet. That there's actually wet sand below it, and so there's a lot of algae and weeds and everything growing actually in between the rocks. So some of the rocks I'm actually leaving them really white because of the light. So I'm actually increasing the saturation level on this one because of the amount of light that's falling. I'm hardly using any water here. I'm just directly going in with the paint and letting it work. I want the brush strokes to be seen. Again, I'm using a lot of green here too. Like I said, I want the weed, the algae to be seen, and I want those brush strokes and brush marks to be seen. Again, you see what I'm doing with this rock here. I'm adding the white, I've added the green. Now it actually looks like a stone that you can see. Like, I don't need to tell you. The best thing, you have done a very good painting when you don't need to explain what your painting is about. Let people make their own conclusions. So I've actually gone ahead and done the detailing of all the, I've just drawn around the white spaces. And I didn't actually film this part because it's too draggy, I feel. So I'm going to go and add a little bit of that muddy color in between each rock. All I've done is given an outline to all of them. So if you're wondering what the hell did she do, I just gave an outline to all of them. That's it. Because the further the rocks go, the more white it is. So now what I'm doing is I'm giving some shadow. I'm giving some dimension. So each rock looks distinct, even though there is light. So wherever I feel like it needs more color, needs more gray, needs more brown, I'm going in with more of the brown and more of the white wherever I think it's necessary. But you get the idea that this is how you actually do it. I'd really like you guys to try it out, get a picture where you can see so many of these rocks, and maybe create your own scenery. Or you want to copy this one, go ahead, do it. It's just that you won't learn much if you try to copy exactly. So anyway, on the side where near the water is, what I wanted to do, this wasn't there in the photograph. What I wanted to do is put a lot of colored pebbles, colored rocks. So I'm going in with acrylic gouache here. I'm using Turner's acrylic gouache. I'm just in love with this a kind of paint. It's just so matte and it's so perfect. By the way, I'm a huge fan of matte finish. So I'm just going in with different dark shades. I'm going with green, I'm going with brown, red, you know. I want it to look like that, like there are multiple color rocks. Just random circles. I'm not going in with too much detail. Like I said, paint only what you see. Don't try to do too much of detail. You will spoil the painting. You will spoil it. You will go ahead and do the extra detail that you're trying to do will already spoil the the already good looking painting. Just don't bother about too much of it. What you see is what you draw. That is enough. Don't don't draw. I'm sorry. Don't try to draw more than what you see. If you don't see it, you don't draw it. That's it. You don't paint it. So I'm giving it multiple colors here. I want it to look more we've seen those different color pebbles, not pebbles, rocks. That's, I don't know, a lot of these artists who paint on rocks collect them. So I wanted to get that there. I don't know if this is actually capturing that idea, but yeah. I'm going to give some detail here, like where the light is shining. I don't want to leave it like that, so I'm just going random. I'm going with really bright white. I'm going with zinc white. I don't know if it's zinc white or titanium white really, but it's the whitest white on in the box. It's I'm using Turner's acrylic gouache here. All this while I was using normal water soluble gouache. This is also water soluble. It's just that you cannot reactivate these paints. The other kind of gouache, you can just leave it on the palette and just come back and just spray some water, put some water on it, and then reactivate that paint and use it again. You never have to wash your palette. But this is just like acrylic paints. They once dry, it's dry. That's it. You can't do much with that. So I'm gonna use white wherever I think it requires. So now there's a shape and there's a dimension now. Now you can actually see that damn, they are rocks. They are actually rocks. So I'm still going in with some white wherever I think that it needs more dimension, needs more shape. So that's like a pathway that I've created on the other side. I'm drawing like a white, like a rock sticking out from the ground. Wherever white is required, wherever I think it's required. This is something that I can't really teach you guys. Once you start doing them, once you start looking and staring into the photograph for hours and hours and hours, I want to suggest, every time you take a break or you stop painting, just step back and look at your painting. Just look at it for 5-6 minutes. Just look at it and see what it wants. Now with like a cream, I won't say cream, it's more of a chrome yellow mixed with a lot of white. It's like, okay, so another tip here, you want any light shade, any pastel shade, you add the dark color to the light color. You want to dim the dark color down, you add the light color to the dark color. Okay, I'll teach you that in another video. We will do basics and we'll discuss color theory, colorology and whatnot. Okay, so I'm using a little bit of pastel shades here. I'm using cream, I'm using some flesh tones here to show some of the pebbles, the colors. Algae is not all green, so I'm going in here with acrylic gouache. Usually I finish the background and then come to the midground, then foreground. Since this is a video tutorial about how to paint rocks, I thought I'll start from the foreground. You need a lot of practice, a lot of experience. years and years of experience to be able to understand how to do from foreground to background. So I would suggest finish the background and then come here. So I'm going in with some yellow because of the sun, the shiny sun. Anyway, let's go and work on our beach. Like I said, I wasn't going to leave that blue that way. So this is the light blue that I had already mixed with some white. I just added a tat like a touch of black. That's it. If you see, the water is actually just reflecting the sky, right? It's not really blue. So giving some lighter tones, trying to focus the damn camera. So I'm going to let that dry. Now let's paint the land here. It's not a mountain per se. It's just a raised area of land. It's I don't know what it is. So yeah, according to the photograph, I think I should study some geography maybe next time better to better explain in the video. So yeah, and in the far off right now here, I think that looked a little like hay to me. Maybe far off a hut, there's a hut or there's a house, somebody's house. They're trying to they have a small farm or whatever. It looked like hay to me. So this is like a slope area where I'm painting right now. It's slopey, so I'm going to give the character just a few lines can do wonders to your painting. So I'm going to put the original photograph didn't have green, so I'm still going to use a little green because hey, it's me. My painting is incomplete without green anywhere. So I'm doing this really light green. If you see, I'm dabbing. I'm dab. I'm not sweeping. Do not sweep. You will lift the paint under the paint that's under it. Just drawing some trees. Make sure you leave a little bit of the background because you want the sky to be seen. See how the dimension is forming. There is a slope, right? There's a slope from coming all the way from the left. So it's the perspective is from the middle and from the left, right? Now I'm going in with a slightly darker green. This is just normal, not light green I would say, but leaf green with a mix of a little bit of brown and black. So why it's darker? Because we're seeing it from a distance and we need it to look darker. You won't see any light leaf colors unless the whole tree is that color. So I'm going to draw some bush trees here, some really thick trees, and then we'll come back later with a little bit of brown and white and then draw them barks. I'm actually leaving a little bit of the background, a little bit of the white, a little bit of the under color, the base color. That's actually a mountain, I think, mountain or a land heap. I have no idea, but that's what I saw in the photograph, and I wanted to keep it dark green. I'm using a little bit of dark blues here and there. I've mixed it with the green so you won't see the blue. So that's why I said as you keep doing and doing and doing, you realize you need to add a certain color to make it look a certain way. We'll discuss color theory in another video. There's only one me and I can only do one video at a time. So I'm going here, I'm actually using Posca's acrylic markers. Oh my god, these guys, oh my god, you have to get a hand. get your hands on these markers. They're such a saver sometimes. Sometimes you can't use your brush in certain areas, and maybe you just want to be done with it, or you just want some little bit of detail, and the doing it with the brush is kind of irritating you. So that's what I do. I use these acrylic markers. They're really amazing. There's another brand also that is available like this, but those are very expensive. Posca is amazing. So I've used a little brown under the trees to give it some dimension, give it some shape, and I've even used the light brown shade on the land hill, the hill on the left, the far left, the brown land rays. I'm using white here so that the trees are actually properly seen. And then between the gaps, I'm filling in some white so that a little bit of the background be seen, and light landslides from far, you actually see them as yellow and white. My God, I've been talking for 30 minutes. Okay, here's the beach. Okay, so I'm actually very nervous when I do water. So I've diluted the color a little bit. It's not thick paint. I'm not layering in thick paint. It's very diluted. I've added some more black so that it looks slightly darker than the base color, so that I can create those waves. I can create those marks. These marks that I've made closer to the stones, I'm actually gonna go in with some white so I can create some waves there. So I'm just randomly placing some marks and some swirls here and there. Actually watch this very carefully so you understand what I'm doing. There's not everything, there's only so much I can explain. So I'm going in with white here. Now as you can see, since it's a darker darker undercolor, a darker base, the white is not showing through that much. But don't worry, go ahead, do the white, finish the white wherever you want to put the white, and then we can come back again with a much more thicker paint, maybe even the acrylic paint. I think I didn't use acrylic paints. I think I used, I'm sorry, I give my voiceover later after I'm done with the painting. I keep thinking I should be recording my voice while I'm actually painting. So I'm actually creating the waves. I left that to dry for a bit so I can come back again with some white. Now I'm back here on my rocks, and I think it needs some shadow, to make it look dirty, make it look like it's I wanted it to smell like a beach. Yes, yeah, I know I sound crazy. So I'm just giving some dimension here and there. Just some more, I felt like I needed to give some more shadow here. So I'm going in with watercolors actually. You see, it's not really mixing with the acrylic paint, and I've used acrylic paint, so it's not going to stick much. So this is a very diluted brown. I'm just giving in some shadows. Now if this was an oil painting, I would have done a glazing. Now I'll explain what glazing and everything is in a much later video. So yeah. That's it, I guess. Just going in again with some darker shades. Now we'll do the clouds. So I'm just randomly placing some white. I'm keeping the clouds closer to the water. I'm going in with thick paint, not very diluted. I want the white to be slightly seen. And then now I'll go with the same color I used for the beach. I keep it, like I said, I want to keep it low, like it, since it's up, way further. Obviously the cloud, the sky and the end of the sea, end of the ocean, sea, whatever, it will meet. So I need to fill in the end. Now I'm going over the white a little bit, since it's a little cloudy, little dark. I didn't want to leave it completely white. I'm going back with the white so that the upper the upper over the cloud it still looks white, and below that slightly dark. We'll just check with some details here and there, wherever I think it needs more shadow, more dirt, more mud. These brushes I picked up from Amazon. My God, they are amazing, absolutely amazing. I'll see if I can put a link down below to so y'all can pick it up. It's absolutely inexpensive, really good quality. For that price I was really surprised. It might need a little bit of trimming. You might want to use a scissor. First time users, please use scissors, and I would suggest a small scissor when you want to trim and manipulate your brush the way you want it. Anyway, I've just done some minute shadows here and there, just here and there, wherever I feel like it needs a little bit more darkening and it needs more dimension, more shadow. So yeah, practice this. Yes, you can copy it, but it won't look exactly the same. You can never copy a painting. Maybe some people can, but anyway, that's the finished painting. And taking off the paint that I had the tape that I had taped on the table. You might want to, I actually filmed this because I wanted to show you how to peel off that tape. Yes, you might want to peel it off away from you like that, so that you don't peel off the paper. And don't forget your signature, and please sign inside the painting. That's it. Practice. Any doubts, leave it in the comment section. Please like, subscribe, share, comment.